So first of all, my name is Constable Claude Chancy. I'm from Winnipeg Police Service Public Information Office. We're going to be touching on a few items today, mainly dealing with distraction theft incidences that we've seen arise in the last little while. Allow me to go back a little bit to a release that we put out at the beginning of August. In that particular instance, we had a 29-year-old male in the 500 block of Toronto Street who was walking his dog. At that time, the suspect approached him carrying costume jewelry as a gift, a common tactic used by traveling jewelry scam and distraction crime groups. The suspect used a distraction technique to remove a valuable gold chain from the man's neck and replace it with a fake one. After realizing that was happening, the man confronted the suspect. The suspect fled in a vehicle, causing the man to fall and sustain minor injuries. So we see that little bit of elevation in physicality and violence in these incidences as well. So at that time, the Major Crimes Unit had undergone an investigation. It did identify a man by the name of Unit Vasily Bivolaru. He's a 31-year-old male. We have those pictures available in the releases in front of you and also on our streaming services and online social media as well. So this Mr. Bivolaru is still in the wind. We're still looking to locate him, and we're asking for the public's assistance if they have any information that would lead to the location of this male and the subsequent arrest. Now we'll go into something more recent, dealing with the three incidences that happened more recently in the last couple of weeks. So again, these are investigations by the Major Crimes Unit. And they happened primarily in the south end of the city. As previously released, these criminals often use different distraction techniques to steal money, wallets, and jewelry from unsuspecting victims. In past incidents, suspects approached elderly victims outside retail stores and in surface parking lots. The suspects are now attending residential neighborhoods and approaching victims on or near their property. So that is something of great concern to us as well. The encounters are becoming increasingly aggressive and physical in nature. So during the month of September 18th, we had a dark colored SUV pull up to a residence on Drake Boulevard in St. Boniface. And under the guise of praying for an ill family member, which is the distraction, a female suspect placed fake jewelry in the victim's hand and stole 2 rings and a necklace from the victim that they were wearing. September 23rd, in Bridgewater, a SUV pulled up to a victim on Bridgeland Drive South. One of the suspects approached, attempted to hug the victim, which is the distraction technique, and stole a bracelet off the victim. September 27th, an elderly couple who was walking around John Bruce Road in Royalwood was approached again by a vehicle. A male suspect approached the male victim, while the female suspect attempted a close physical encounter with the female victim, replacing the jewelry she was wearing with counterfeit jewelry. These suspects in those 3 incidents appear to be South Asian and spoke Hindi in 2 of those incidents. So investigators believe the suspects are targeting elderly victims that are not fluent in English and whom they have identified as wearing high-valued gold jewelry. So this is the point that we want to make perfectly clear, is that these individuals are very, very good at what they do. Not only in the distraction techniques that they're using, but even identifying the quality of the jewelry that their victims are wearing. The traveling distraction crime group travel intra-provincially using rental vehicles, typically with Quebec, Alberta, or BC license plates. That's not to say that you might not find other license plates, but typically they're from our province. From previous investigation, this group is known to use motel on the outskirts of the city and in rural areas. They use that as their base of operation and commit thefts within nearby populated areas. Now, we do believe there may be other similar distraction theft incidences throughout the city that may have not yet been reported. This is really important. The Winnipeg Police Service reminds the public to be vigilant when encountering these groups and report these incidents to police so that they may be investigated, even if nothing has been stolen. We've received dozens of reports since March that are showing definitely that there is an increase in this happening, and not unlike similar incidents that have been reported throughout the country. We're talking about the same type of incidents here. So these individuals prey on the kindness of their victims. They're very approachable. They seem very friendly. It's almost having like a wolf in sheep's clothing, if you will. We're asking people to keep their jewelry well hidden. If approached in a similar manner, decline the request, disengage, make a police report. There are other things that we probably would want to know as investigators. The suspect description, the details of the interaction, the make and the model of the vehicles, including the license plates. Those all can assist investigators. We don't normally ask people to take pictures of these incidents, but if you happen to have a picture of a vehicle or license plate, or even the suspects, by all means, those are also very helpful to investigators. At this time, I'd like to open it up to questions to anybody who has them.
So you're mentioning these, the earlier incident, the one that happened in August, and these latest incidents. Is it your belief that these are connected, or are they just similar incidents that you're bringing to the public?
So they're similar incidences because the mode of operation is quite similar, and they involve both distraction and the theft of jewelry from victims that they're actually wearing. As far as these last three in the last couple of weeks, and the previous one where we're looking for the mail with the warrant, those are not related, different group.
Okay, and yeah, because the earlier incident happened in the West End.
Yes.
Now these latest ones are happening in the south end of the city.
Right.
So are you seeing is it happening anywhere else in the city?
Yeah. So I mean, we focus on the last three because it did happen in the south end of the city, and it happened in residential neighborhoods, which is unlike most of the ones that we've seen so far, which happened mostly in retail areas, parking lots and such. Now they're going to retail into residential neighborhoods, or poaching people near or close to their residences, which is quite alarming.
Are you aware of like other cities where this group has been and is traveling out?
Well, we have to be careful when we say this group. So far, we haven't tied that to other incidences in different parts of Canada. Okay, we're dealing strictly with things that have happened here in the city. To say that they're not responsible for other crimes in different cities, they may very well be, because these are traveling criminals. They literally go from city to city to city to city, across the country and back. So it's extremely common. We've heard it from cities in Ontario, Alberta, BC, and it's becoming quite a big challenge to try and catch these thieves.
Do you anticipate that after this release and sharing this information, that these people will just move on? Like they'll go somewhere else?
Well, that's a possibility. The fact of the matter is they're going to move anyways. That's what they do. They're transient criminals. They move on a regular basis. They move quickly. It is very possible that if they see and hear this, they'll move. But the importance of having a press conference like this is twofold. Not only does it alert other law enforcement agencies to the problem we're having here, and again, the information sharing is common within all law enforcement agencies, so that is part of the reason we're doing this. More importantly, we want to make sure that the public is aware that this is happening. Like I mentioned before, some of these victims were seniors that are not English speaking. So they may read this or may not be able to read this or may not be able to understand what we're putting out there on video. We implore on their family members, whether you have parents or grandparents, that, go for walks and have, wear their jewelry or go to the retail store wearing expensive jewelry. Perhaps give them the advice that they should have that well hidden, and if possible, leave it at home so that they don't become inadvertent victims of these crimes.
Are you working with police in any other jurisdictions on this investigation?
Not on these investigations per se. Now, if there's any correlation to another city where we have perhaps the same suspects, then we would, of course, be contacting them or vice versa, and we would have that information sharing that would help either law enforcement agency or both.
Regarding these incidents that happen at homes, how are the suspects identifying potential victims? Are they just driving through neighborhoods and seeing people?
They are.
Outside,
Yeah, they're very opportunistic. They will park in a retail store parking lot, for example, and again, they're not usually alone. I know that the one with the male that with the August incident, for example, he was alone, but all the other incidents that we see, they're traveling in groups in vehicles. So you may have at least two people in the vehicle, usually a male and female. Sometimes you'll even have kids, believe it or not. So it takes that level of suspicion down quite a bit. Again, they may sit in a retail store. They may sit in the driveway, not a driveway, but on the roadway, and they will actually look for these people. Again, they're very, very skilled in identifying real gold or real jewelry on people, and they're able to commit to the theft based on that information.
Is there any opportunity to elaborate at all on how the exchange works? Like, we hear, we talk about it, taking a necklace off, taking a bracelet off. Is this a matter of yanking them off? Can you elaborate on that so people, should they find themselves in as close quarters, what they might be experiencing?
So when you have somebody that yanking something off your body, that becomes effectively a robbery. There's a violent point to that particular incident. As far as the method, I can't go into the exact method, but the point of contact, physical contact with the person, is where it facilitates the crime. So if they're able to put their hands on somebody else's hands, they have gifts sometimes, like the fake jewelry, to place into somebody's hand. You've got now a hold of their hand. They're able to manipulate and through sleight of hand and take that off. In the case of a necklace, for example, they'll sometimes even hug, embrace the person, and that's that physical contact, close physical contact that we're talking about, are able to place the jewelry around somebody's neck while removing the necklace at the same time. So they do this very quickly. They're very good at it. And the majority of the cases, the victims are not even aware that it happened until they figure out that jewelry is not theirs that they're wearing.
And you spoke about the children being used to lower suspicion as well. Even if there's children involved, is there any suspicion that this is, a couple family units coming together to, carry out these crimes, or how do you believe children get involved in something like that?
Well, sometimes it's the actual family that's inside the SUV, so or vehicle, whatever vehicle that they may be using. Now, we're not saying that this is a criminal organization at this point. The likelihood that it is and the potential that it is there. We're not at that point yet, but to answer your question about using kids, again, it's to make the victims feel comfortable. You see little children around, you're going to feel comfortable. Even if you give them a story that need gas to get home, again, they prey on the kindness of their victims.
And, we see this a lot traveling abroad, having to have backpacks that are secure, making sure you're aware that, anyone can distract you and pickpocket you. But with this increasing more here in Winnipeg, can we take any tips from other cultures who deal with this on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I think it's always been a problem here too. It's just now we're just seeing just a rise in those incidents. And the only way to do that is actually to educate people and say, hey, this is happening. And that's what we want people to take from this, is that knowledge that these are crimes of opportunity, but they're planned. So these people know what they're doing. And if you are empowered by that information yourself, the likelihood of being a victim is greatly lessened.
In some of these incidents, were the rings or other jewelry, was it like wedding rings or anything of sentimental value?
Yeah, that's a great question. So these items that they're stealing off the bodies of their victims are usually high-valued jewelry items that have a lot of sentimental value to the person. So yeah, it can be wedding rings, it can be mementos, it can be gold that's been passed on from generation to generation. So yeah, these have a great importance and great value to the people that are wearing them.
Presumably then after they steal this stuff, they're selling it.
Well, we don't know, right? So if we're talking gold here, the one point about gold that makes it harder to find the original owner, if they're really well organized, they could easily melt all that gold down and then sell the gold. It's not going to be identifiable at that point. So that's another point that makes this crime a little bit more easy to get away with. So that's why we need people to actually make those observations, make those reports, even when nothing is stolen, make those reports so we can make those links to the perpetrators.
And the report makes mention of, the fact that they spoke Hindi in a couple of these incidents.
Yeah.
Are there specific ethnic groups that are primarily being targeted?
Well, In this last three, it seemed like it was. Now, there's some cultures that do wear a lot of jewelry, and they're aware of that as well. Now, going back to the fact that you're talking about the Hindi speaking, we've also noticed a few of these groups speaking French and English as well. So there is that, they're versatile in being able to adapt to whoever they're victimizing. Any other questions? No?
Just sorry, regarding the
Yeah.
jewelry that was stolen.
Yes.
Do you have a, I guess, an estimated value of some of those pieces?
I had a conversation yesterday with Major Crimes Unit, and looking at an average between $3,000 to $6,000 of jewelry per victim. So we're talking high-end jewelry here. So again, that's why they're targeting certain groups, that the quality of the gold is higher in a lot of cases, and that's what they're going for. Thank you very much.